So when you think of modern Italy, what comes to mind? For a lot of us, it's ancient history, incredible food, timeless art. But what's really going on there today? Well, it's a place of fascinating contradictions. A country where ancient sculptures get CT scans, and where those iconic citrus groves are actually starting to make way for mangoes. It's a puzzle, for sure. And today, we're going to try to put the pieces together.
And really, thinking of it like a puzzle box is the perfect way to approach it. It's just filled with all these different pieces that, at first glance, don't seem to fit together. You've got the economy, you've got culture, society, the environment. So let's open the box, start fitting them together, and see what kind of picture starts to emerge.
That's the big question for us today, right? What does Italy actually look like right now in the 21st century? To figure that out, we have to start somewhere. So let's grab our first piece of the puzzle, and that's the economy.
Okay, so our first piece is the Italian economy. And, right off the bat, we run into this really interesting paradox. It's this mix of genuinely good news sitting right alongside some pretty serious concerns. I mean, just look at this. It's a real head-scratcher. On one hand, the government's books are looking better. The national deficit is actually shrinking. That's great. But on the other hand, the wider economy is struggling. GDP growth is slow, and for regular people and businesses, the tax burden has gone up. Think of it this way. It's like you finally balanced your family budget perfectly, but then your salary gets cut. It's a tough spot to be in. And this number, wow, it really tells a story. After a couple of years of decline, people's personal savings have shot back up to a massive 1.36 trillion euros. With inflation easing up a bit and interest rates high, it seems like a lot of Italians are making a conscious choice to, tuck that money away instead of spending it. And that same strange split, we see it playing out right here. Because of recent rate cuts from the European Central Bank, borrowing by households is surging, mostly for mortgages. People are buying homes. But at the exact same time, businesses are hitting the brakes. They're borrowing less, they're being more cautious. So you've got this individual optimism, but this wider corporate uncertainty. It's a really complex picture. Okay, so we've seen the paradoxes in the economy. Now let's grab another puzzle piece, this time from the world of culture. And here we find a different kind of tension, but it's just as fascinating. It's the tension between Italy's ancient priceless treasures and the brand new tools being used to understand and protect them. Get this, in Milan, some of the most precious works of art are getting a hospital checkup. A local hospital is literally lending its high-tech CT scanners and X-ray machines to art restorers. And with this tech, they can see inside ancient sculptures. They're finding hidden cracks, old repairs, and even secrets about how these things were made centuries ago. It's just a perfect, beautiful blend of modern medicine and ancient art. And this blend of old and new isn't just for museums. Take a look at the food industry. Sales of organic products have soared to a record 6.5 billion euros. That's not just a number, it signals a really huge shift in values. It tells you that more and more consumers are prioritizing health, sustainability, and supporting local farms. Now, check this out. Down in Sicily, something really incredible is happening on the farms, and it's being driven by climate change. The island, famous forever for its citrus groves, oranges, lemons, is now becoming a fantastic place to grow tropical fruits like mangoes and avocados. And farmers there are adapting, they're seizing this new opportunity. It's amazing, but it's also a stark reminder of the very real on-the-ground impacts of our changing world. But this all raises a really important question. As the food culture shifts towards these premium, organic, and specialty foods, who gets left behind? You have to ask, could this create a kind of two-tiered system? A split between the people who can afford these products and those who simply can't. It's a potential side effect that's definitely worth keeping an eye on. And that idea of access and inclusion, well, it's the perfect bridge to our next set of puzzle pieces. Because these are all about how Italy is trying to build a more inclusive future in everything from sports to education to healthcare. The future is here. I mean, how powerful is that? That's the official slogan for the 2025 Special Olympics World Winter Games, which are being held in Italy. And it is so much more than just a tagline. The event itself is a massive statement about acceptance and about a real commitment to building a society that celebrates the potential of every single person. And that same forward-thinking vibe, you see it happening in education too. Italy is in the middle of a huge reform of its world-famous arts universities. They're getting students ready for the future by adding specializations in things like street art. How cool is that?
They're also weaving in technology like virtual reality for creating art, and even experimenting with artificial intelligence to compose music.
Okay, but then we get to healthcare, and we're back to another one of these stark contradictions. Italy has some absolutely world-class hospitals. I mean, 13 of them are in the global top rankings. And yet, at the very same time, 8 whole regions are struggling just to meet basic healthcare standards. It really shows how regional differences can create what feels like two different countries when it comes to something as vital as healthcare.
And just like there are these hidden inequalities in the system, there are these absolutely incredible natural wonders hidden just off Italy's coasts. We're talking about seamounts. They're basically giant underwater mountains. Italy has more than 80 of them, and they are not just rocks. They're thriving biodiversity hotspots, creating these unique ecosystems that are just crucial for the health of the entire Mediterranean Sea. But like so many natural wonders, these underwater worlds are fragile, and they're threatened by human activity. So it really makes you ask, what can we do to help protect them? Well, things like supporting sustainable fishing or pushing for more marine conservation areas. Those are real, concrete steps that can help preserve these incredible hidden gardens. Okay, we've laid out a lot of pieces here. You've got the paradoxical economy, the innovative culture, this push for a more inclusive society, and these hidden environmental treasures. So now it's time to step back, put them all together, and see what the final picture looks like.
So what is the big picture? What's the image that emerges from all these pieces? It's a country defined by this constant, dynamic tension between tradition and innovation. You see it everywhere. You see it in the food, in the art, in the environment, in society itself. This balancing act, this constant push and pull, that really feels like the heart of modern Italy.
And that, in a nutshell, is the solution to our puzzle. The magic of modern Italy isn't just in its glorious past, but in this constant process of adapting, of reimagining itself. It's a country that is always in the middle of weaving this vibrant, evolving, and totally captivating cultural tapestry. Which kind of leaves us with one last thought to chew on. What if Italy's greatest masterpiece isn't something hanging in a gallery or standing in a piazza? What if the masterpiece is the country itself, a living, breathing work of art that is constantly and beautifully being reimagined?